Well, hey guys, today I'm going to share with you the easiest and most delicious recipe that I have found recently. This is now my second time making these, and this is coconut flour crazy bread. So this is very similar to the crazy bread that you find at Little Caesars, only it is Trim Healthy Mama approved, it is low carb approved. You use coconut flour, you use mozzarella cheese, heavy cream, and what else? An egg. You use an egg. So I'm actually doubling this recipe because it's so delicious and I want to have a few leftovers. So the original recipe I will have linked down in the description box. In my pan I have, and my oven's going off. In my pan here I've doubled the recipe and I have 2.5 cups of mozzarella cheese here in my pot getting ready to melt. I'm going to go ahead and actually stir this up because I don't want it to burn. I have it on low temperature, so it's like at a level 3. And if you could use a microwave if you want to, I just don't have one. So working it on the stove is super simple and easy. You're going to want to watch this and you're going to want to stir constantly. Basically, you're going to melt all of your cheese and then you're going to add your other ingredients, and I will take you through that step in just a second. This is 3 minutes into the process. And my camera, I can't hold it in my other hand, so it's impossible to stir for me with my left hand, but this is what it's looking like. Okay, so I did go ahead and pull that off the heat because I didn't want the egg to cook. And I've just simply been incorporating everything and it sort of makes like a really nice dough. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this off and we're actually going to knead it a little bit. I'm going to let it cool just a smidgen. And then I'm going to knead it slightly and we're going to roll it between 2 pieces of parchment paper. Okay, so here's what everything looks like once it's kneaded together, and I just really just kind of stir it over and over and over and knead it right in my pan. It is a beautiful color of yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some parchment paper on top. Now you definitely need to do this. Don't try and skip this step, and make sure that you're using parchment paper, not wax paper. Wax paper will burn in your oven. And what you're going to do is you're going to, once everything is laid out and cut, you are going to put this whole bottom sheet onto the cookie tray and into the oven. So keep that in mind. Definitely use parchment paper, not wax paper. So this is what your dough looks like after it's been rolled out. You do want to just try and maintain the same thickness throughout. Mine is fairly thin, but you don't want it paper thin by any means. This will puff up a little bit if I remember correctly. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a pizza slicer and you're going to want to slice all of your breadsticks. Now I will tell you that when I did this before, my whole crazy bread sort of just I don't know, grew back together as it baked. So I don't know if that step is completely necessary and you just want to cut at the end. It's up to you. I'm probably still going to go ahead and slice all of my lines as it is. I always like to start in the middle and divide it in half, and then I go in half again, and then I divide and just divide that way so everything's nice and even, and then I'll do one cut all the way across. So here is my crazy bread lifted onto my pan. You just slide it very carefully and it should go on no problem. This is such an easy recipe, guys. I've done this in like 7 minutes, and that's with filming. You want your oven set at 350 and you are going to bake this for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so here it is as I pull it out of the oven. Now, as you'll see, it all kind of grew back together. It didn't keep the lines. However, I will say to score it anyways, because I checked on it when it was in the oven and it really puffed up quite a bit. And I think these lines kind of help it keep from becoming one big giant puff. As you can see, these air bubbles have collapsed already, and that's kind of the goodness of crazy bread. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to make the butter sauce that goes over the top of this. So you're going to need Parmesan cheese, some garlic powder, or you can use actual minced garlic, and a few tablespoons of butter. You're going to add your tablespoons of butter. You can use a microwave. You can do this in the microwave. I don't have one, so I'm just using this little mini pan. You add a couple tablespoons of butter into your pan, and then the garlic powder. Melt those two things together. Drizzle it on top of your crazy bread, and then you sprinkle with Parmesan cheese. Now this Parmesan cheese is large flakes. This is like real Parmesan cheese, as opposed to the green can, which I guess is real, but whatever. So I am thinking I may just run a little bit through my magic bullet to grind it up a little bit more. The Parmesan cheese and the garlic powder absolutely make this, so don't skip this step. And here's what it looks like when it is finished. I did not run the cheese through my magic bullet. I just didn't have time. So I just kind of squished it up between my hands. I would really recommend using the green can, or if you use this Saputo brand from Costco, make sure that you do take some time to grind it up, because I think it would taste a little bit better. However, this is a really delicious recipe. We're having buffalo chicken salads tonight and coconut flour breadsticks. It's gonna be delish.